Good morning. My name is David Osman. I'm the Acting Director of the Department of the Environment, and welcome to the... Thank you. Welcome to the 12th Annual Mayor's Earth Day Breakfast. As we celebrate 40 years of Earth Day, now the largest non-secular celebration on the planet, we have a lot of things to be grateful for. We have a lot of achievements to be proud of. And I'm going to hit on a couple of highlights from the Department of the Environment in the past 12 months, just to hopefully put a little bit of perspective on what we're celebrating today. We've had some pretty great successes in the last year, and we've established some new programs, and the one that I'm most proud of is our new Environment Now program, which, thanks to funding through the Jobs Now program, has put teams of people into the community. They have done incredible outreach. Just to give you one small example, we worked on sending people door to door in the Bayview to try and bring up the diversion rate, the composting rate, which was significantly below city average. After just a couple of months, the composting diversion rate in the Bayview doubled. It is now 30% higher than the city average. Every year in the 12 years that we've been doing these breakfasts, there have been achievements in the area of waste reduction. When we started these in the late 1990s, we were sending over 700,000 tons of waste to Altamont landfill every year. Last year, that number was down to 400,000. It's gone down every single year, including a 65,000 ton drop in the last year alone. So we're making incredible progress. And one of the things that there's two measures that really determine whether you're really doing waste reduction. One is your diversion rate, which our rate's been going up every year, and it's doubled over the last little over a decade. The other measure is what you're sending to landfill. If you look at the state, the diversion rate in the state as a whole has gone up to over 50%, but the amount of material going to landfill has remained constant because more waste has been generated. Well, we've done what everybody needs to do. We've doubled our diversion rate, and we've cut our disposal in half. And we're well on the way to zero waste. So a couple more things on Environment Now. Not only have they done what they've done in the Bayview, but they've worked on 14 unique campaigns. They have visited over 3,000 businesses. They have talked to more than 15,000 residents. They have planted over 500 trees. They are a success story and have opened up new horizons for us in outreach, and we will continue with the mayor's support to push that program even more. We have hopefully another 18 months of that program to be able to achieve even greater things in the year to come. A couple of other really important highlights. We're setting the stage now in the clean air world by developing an electric vehicle infrastructure that will be the envy of the nation when it's put into place. Mayor Newsom, along with Mayor Reed and Mayor Dellums, are working on a regional initiative to set up charging stations in garages around the Bay Area. We're working in the area of energy to expand our energy efficiency efforts from small businesses and commercial properties to also the residential sector through the SF Green Financing Program. And we're working on lots of other initiatives like the cell phone initiative. It's a right to know initiative that the mayor has introduced to post what the SAR values are for cell phones that are sold. So that's just a few of the achievements that we have been able to make in the past year at the Department of the Environment. I also want to acknowledge the Energy Challenge winners today. We had a year-long competition for commercial buildings. 80 commercial buildings took part in the challenge. There are 4 winners, 3 in office buildings and 1 in hotels. In the office buildings, 1 Sansom Street won the Kilowatt Cup. Julie Gianni is here from 1 Sansom Street, so congratulate 1 Sansom Street on that achievement. The Oric building won an award for greatest improvement. Blake Peterson is here. Congratulate him. The Russ building at 235 Montgomery is getting an award for the most efficient building, and Michael Cashin is here. And finally, for hotels, the Kilowatt Cup goes to the Intercontinental Hotel, and Peter Kohler is here for the Intercontinental Hotel. So congratulations to all those winners. And one of the things that is really, really important for our environmental work and environmental achievements is to set up partnerships. And we really can't, as government, do it alone. We need to work with the public. The public sector needs to work with the private sector. And part of doing that is setting up partnerships on events like this. And we have a number of private companies that have supported this effort and other environmental efforts, and I'm going to introduce 3 of them. One of them is going to join us by video phone. It's going to be a video connection, and the other 2 are here in person. I'd like to introduce, for brief remarks, Christy Consular, the Vice President, Leadership Development and Sustainability for Safeway.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Christy Consular, Vice President of Leadership Development and Sustainability at Safeway. I am also a proud San Franciscan, and my husband assures me that our 2 toddlers are 6th generation. So we love our fair city. And Safeway is so pleased to be a sponsor of today's breakfast. Sustainability is very important to our company. And in fact, my role is new to Safeway because we felt it was important to have a centralized focus on such an important business and community issue. In Northern California, we operate 273 stores, and in San Francisco alone, we have 15 stores, which are an integral part of the neighborhoods that we operate in. And what you may not know is that overall, Safeway is a Fortune 50 company of 186,000 employees, over 1,700 stores in the U.S. and Western Canada. So we have a very large scope and footprint. At Safeway, we believe that we're all connected to each other and to the planet. And the benefit of these connections is how even small changes, when added together, can have a lasting and powerful impact. We organize our sustainability efforts across 4 platforms: people, products, community, and planet. And bringing together people, products, and communities to support a healthier planet, we call this the heart of Safeway. Since our beginnings almost 100 years ago, Safeway has established its reputation as a leader in environmental, social, and ethical business practices. We've been recycling cardboard and aluminum since the 1960s and 70s and began composting years before other retailers. Safeway is the 7th largest purchaser of renewable energy in the United States, and we've completed 18 solar projects with more on the way. We have long been a fundraiser for Easter seals, cancer research, and other important issues that affect our customers and our communities. We also employ almost 10,000 employees with diverse abilities. And we've been an innovator in developing more sustainable product lines like O Organics and Bright Green. Safeway is very proud to be a Bay Area company, and we're committed to making a measurable difference in this important sustainability journey. We also urge each of you to take simple actions every day, whether it's bringing your reusable bags to the grocery store or buying organic, to make your world a little bit more sustainable. We look forward to being on this important sustainability journey together, and we appreciate the opportunity to sponsor this breakfast in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Jim Keenan from United Airlines.
Thank you, and good morning. I'm happy to be here today to represent United Airlines in our third year of sponsorship of the Mayor's Annual Earth Day Breakfast. San Francisco and United share a rich history dating back to the 1930s, when the airport that is now San Francisco International was called Mills Field. Our history together actually goes back a little further than that because, as some historians know, the founder of the original United Airlines, a gentleman named Walter Varney, was a native here in San Francisco, flew planes out of Crissy Field, was born in 1988 in the city of San Francisco, just a few years, I'll say, after my first ancestors immigrated to San Francisco from Northern Europe. Throughout the years, United has proudly partnered with the citizens, businesses, and elected officials of the San Francisco Bay Area. Today, we're a significant part of the economic and employment engine that drives San Francisco. Over 40% of the flights that depart SFO every day bear the United name, and 5 times more seats depart San Francisco than any other airline every day. And San Francisco is equally important to us as a key hub in our global network and our gateway to the Asia-Pacific region. San Francisco is also home to United's aircraft maintenance base, and the Bay Area is home to 8,500 United Airlines employees. As part of our commitment to San Francisco, we share Mayor Newsom's vision for environmental stewardship. In the same way that Mayor Newsom has made it his administration's mission to introduce and implement leading environmental initiatives, the initiatives we've implemented at United demonstrate that we take our environmental responsibility seriously. On this 40th anniversary of Earth Day, I'd like to take just a moment to share our story. United is committed to reducing our impact to the environment in the air and on the ground, from the global to the local levels. The aviation industry as a whole, thanks in part to industry-wide contribution to new technologies and procedures by United's own engineers and pilots, has decades of strong performance to back up this commitment. United Airlines now moves passengers and cargo more than twice as far on a single gallon of fuel compared to 30 years ago. That fact has saved as much CO2 as taking almost 19 million cars off the road in each of those years from then till now. But we aren't just resting on our laurels. U.S. airlines have joined their international counterparts to announce an ambitious set of targets to mitigate our emissions under a global approach, including collective industry commitments to achieve carbon neutral growth by 2020. Airlines are the first global industry to make such bold commitments, but achieving them will require strong support from all aviation stakeholders: airlines, manufacturers, fuel suppliers, airports, and governments. We have also placed a firm order to purchase 50 new, ultra-fuel efficient aircraft to replace part of our existing fleet, which will result in a 33% improvement in fuel efficiency and carbon emissions compared to the aircraft they are replacing. Last year, we retired all 100 of our least efficient aircraft, the Boeing 737, as well as several of our 747 aircraft. We are strong advocates of next-generation air traffic control modernization. We deeply appreciate Mayor Newsom's support for this technology, which has the potential to improve efficiency and reduce emissions by 12% when fully implemented by the Federal Aviation Administration. In fact, United was the first U.S. carrier to showcase the potential of next-gen, as we did on a flight right here in San Francisco in 2008. What was called the Aspire flight saved over 1,500 gallons of fuel on a single trans-Pacific leg, which was greeted on landing by the governor, who hailed it as a groundbreaking green flight. Finally, we have firm agreements with fuel suppliers to purchase fuels derived from biomass feedstock and synthetic fuels that will deliver the performance and safety of conventional fuel, and most importantly, have a lower emissions footprint. So that is the global story of what we're doing across our corporation. But we're acting locally as well. For example, we are replacing our fleet of ground vehicles at SFO and our maintenance base with our alternative fuel vehicles, which now total about 34% of our vehicles overall. We coordinate with city and county agencies to produce robust rideshare and commuter information programs for our employees, many who travel great distances to come to work at SFO. And in the community, we are making an effort to be a stronger partner. This year, we're partnering nationally with the Alliance for Community Trees, and this June we'll participate in a volunteer tree planting at Bayview Hunters Point. And on Earth Day last week, United joined the Port of San Francisco in sponsoring the 2010 People's Earth Day celebration and Eco Center grand opening. United is proud that our history in San Francisco and our environmental commitment go hand in hand. And we are honored to sponsor this showcase of the city's environmental progress. United salutes Mayor Newsom, not only for his vision, but also his actions in helping make San Francisco both a great place and a sustainable place to live and work. In partnership, United Airlines.
Thank you. Our next presenter will be on this screen. It's going to be Wim Elfink. He's the Executive Vice President of Cisco Services and Chief Globalization Officer.
Hello. I'm very happy to be part of the Earth Day breakfast. Thank you, Mayor Newsom, and all of you for the opportunity for me to join virtually. The City of San Francisco and Cisco enjoy a great partnership, and we are honored to work with Mayor Newsom, a forward-looking leader who understands how technology can transform lives. In December 2009, we had the great opportunity to host Mayor Newsom on our Bangalore campus in India, where we jointly announced the revitalization and sustainable development of projects, including Hunters Point Shipyard and Treasure Island. We are really proud that San Francisco was the first city in the world to launch the Urban Eco Map, an internet-based tool that provides smarter climate change information to citizens. San Francisco provided the inspiration for Amsterdam to become the second city in the world to launch Urban Eco Map. We love competition. And while in Bangalore last year, Mayor Newsom joined Mayor Job Cohen of Amsterdam virtually to launch Urban Eco Map in Amsterdam. Cisco is now ready to further support you in developing a smart regulation program. We believe the future of cities is all about sustainability. Our smart, connected communities vision is to transform San Francisco communities into economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable, connected communities.
One quick reminder, the Energy Challenge winners, after the Earth Day breakfast, there's going to be a trophy that will be given to you outside, and you have your picture taken as well with the mayor. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mayor Gavin Newsom for the 12th annual Earth Day breakfast.
Thanks, David. Thank you all. Fun to see Wim again virtually, and thank you, Cisco, and thank you to United, and thank you, Safeway, for your support of this Earth Day breakfast that goes back to 1999, when Francesca Vitor was the director of the Department of Environment, and I was a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and we said that, well, we were trying to convince Willie Brown that he should celebrate his environmental leadership, that he was doing some extraordinary things, but he wasn't necessarily out front in terms of communicating some of the work that his administration had done and some of the work that he had directed. And so we convened a few folks to a makeshift Earth Day breakfast, where there must have been maybe 10 or 15 of us around a table. And we finally got the mayor. I think he showed up, as we tend to, 45 minutes or so late. And he was well received, so much so that he decided to make it a tradition the next year. And as a consequence, I was blessed to take the baton in 2004 and continue the celebration and the commemoration and the reflection that marks this Earth Day breakfast. And I have every expectation that the mayors that will be coming soon, some would argue sooner, but nonetheless, soon we'll be doing the same. And there's a reason why. San Francisco is mindful of its responsibility to be a steward and a leader in terms of environmental sustainability. We are very proud and blessed, and I want to just create a context for some of my comments, that we decided to step up and step in when the United States stepped away from the Kyoto protocols. You may recall, and this is an important history lesson because folks forget this, when Bill Clinton sent Al Gore, Vice President Al Gore, off to organize and coordinate and promote the Kyoto Accords, by the time Al Gore got back to the United States, before the plane had landed, the Senate voted 98-2 to oppose the Kyoto Protocols. It wasn't just the Republicans. It was Democrats in this country that believed that signing those accords would hurt the economy of this country. It was at that time that cities, large and small, cities like San Francisco, decided to do something because we had a different vision, we had a different framework, we had a different opinion about those accords. And we came together and we put what we call these local global climate action plans together. San Francisco's called to roll back its greenhouse gas emissions 20% below 1990 levels by 2012. We wanted to go 2+ times further than the Kyoto Accords called for, which was about 7% below 1990 levels by 2012. It's interesting to mark this fact of history. 44 countries signed those accords. The 4 that will actually reach those goals, Denmark, Sweden, Germany, and the UK, up until what I would refer to as Lehman Day, around September 15, 2008, had something else in common. They had lower unemployment than the United States of America. They had higher growth rates than the United States of America. They had lower income inequality than the United States of America. Their economies were growing at a faster rate, due in no small part to their support for a high-growth, low-carbon economy that those Kyoto Accords advanced. I think that's important to remind people, because what we have proven, not just those countries, but when I say we, San Francisco has proven, is that you can reduce your greenhouse gas consumption, you can reduce your emissions and grow an economy, to wit, my point. San Francisco proudly today, this Earth Day breakfast, through independent analysis, not proclamation from some mayor spinning the facts, but independent analysis, having been the first city to have an independent third party validate our greenhouse gas emissions, joining a climate registry. The numbers just came out through 2008. And by the way, I want to underscore this, through 2008, because the work we've done since 2008 will show even more extraordinary results, that we already have achieved the Kyoto Accords. We have already rolled back our greenhouse gas emissions 7% below 1990 levels. We did that in 2008. So I'm proud of that, proving this point, proving the paradigm. Now, why does this matter more than ever? I mean, as much as we all love solar, wind, geothermal, we all love environmental stewardship, it's why we're here. We all recognize the greatest challenge we face, not only in the city, this state, and this nation, is the issue of jobs. Think about this fact, or these facts. If you got $1 billion and you want to build a coal plant, you'll create about 870 jobs. If you want to spend $1 billion on nuclear, you'll create about 1,000, a high end, maybe 1,500 jobs. If you want to spend that same billion on solar, you'll generate about 1,900 jobs. And if you believe, as I do, in wind, not just in suburban and rural areas, but in urban areas for the production and operation of wind, 3,300 jobs for every $1 billion you invest. But this, perhaps, matters more than any other, particularly to all the building owners that are here, that were recognized today, and to my friends in labor and Bob Morales, the Teamsters, and others are here. This should matter more, particularly in a construction industry where unemployment is north of 30 to 35%. In some parts of the state, it's north of 40%. That you invest $1 billion into retrofitting your building or buildings, it generates over 7,000 jobs. Now, these are important facts in this debate that's going on, not just, again, around this city and across this region and state, but around the rest of this country. 870 jobs to build a coal power plant, 7,000 to invest that same $1 billion into generating more sustainable buildings. This is why San Francisco is proud to lead the nation in terms of the most aggressive green building standards in this country. That's why we're proud to have the most aggressive solar incentives of any city in this nation. That's why we're proud to have the most significant, the largest municipal solar out on Sunset, on the Sunset Reservoir in the Sunset, 5 megawatt system of any city in the state of California, arguably second largest in the United States. That's why we're proud to have led the way in terms of reducing transportation emissions with the highest percentage of taxi cabs operating with alternative fuels of any big city in the nation. That's why we're proud, as David said, to lead the way to become the world leader in terms of electrifying our vehicle fleet and creating a ubiquitous infrastructure throughout the Bay Area, working with our counterparts in the East Bay and the South Bay. That's why we're proud, as David said, to have the highest diversion rates of any big city in the United States of America. In 1996, they were 35%. Today, they're 72%. We're proud of that accomplishment, and we're proud to have the only city, and you thought I joke about this all the time, Wade Crowfoot, who left me, but gave me the best person around here, Johanna. I always remind Wade, he left just at the right time from his perspective, the wrong time from mine, and that was when we decided to require composting. I joke about this. I said, you think gay marriage was controversial, try requiring composting in your city. Wasn't easy, but we're proud of that because it's creating jobs and it's advancing our environmental framework and building on this legacy that previous mayors have advanced. San Francisco is truly leading the way. This message is now more important than ever, particularly in light of what is going on as it relates to AB 32 in the state of California. I can't believe my ears. Folks that claim to be business leaders, folks that claim to care about jobs, folks that care to go so far as to suggest our unemployment rate in the state is too high, are the first ones out front promoting an initiative to suspend the very initiative that will create those jobs and advance our economic development strategies and allow us to maintain our competitive edge, not only as a state against other states, but as a state on the global stage. It is incumbent upon every single one of you, and I don't want to get into a campaign here per se, but it is incumbent upon all of you to step up on this debate and to mark the success of our city, to mark the success of the 100 countries around the world that are more energy efficient than the United States of America, whose economies are struggling, sure, but growing nonetheless in these difficult environments, to make the case that California's fate and future is directly connected to the fate and future of our environment. It is incumbent upon us to continue to raise the bar. Now, I believe this in my core. Michelangelo said it better than anyone else, not surprisingly, probably could say it, when he simply said, the biggest risk in life is not that we aim too high and miss it, it's that we aim too low and reach it. And with respect to AB 32, what does it call for? San Francisco wants to roll back its greenhouse gas emissions again, 20% below 1990 levels by 2012. AB 32 only calls to roll back our greenhouse gas emissions to 1990 levels, not below 1990 levels, not by 2012, but by 2020. And this, they argue, is draconian and is devastating to the economic future of this state. San Francisco has proven those critics of AB 32 wrong. Because of your work, we have proven them wrong. This is an important message for all of us to communicate. So I want to thank all of you for your leadership, David for his stewardship of this department, and not only to Francesca Vitor and the bar she raised for the Department of Environment, but clearly the great work that was done by our new EPA administrator. What was his name? Jared, who left us as well. To all the members of our commission that are doing great work, to all the leaders in this room from community-based organizations that understand the notion of communitarianism, not as a leftist ideological framework, but a notion that we're all in this together, this notion of interdependence, the notion that we as individuals need to be empowered to engage and do the things that government can't do alone. I thank you for that leadership and that stewardship. To the private sector for stepping up to the plate and being part of this solution. We can't do it without you. To understanding why sometimes we make you a little upset. Poor Christy probably was going, what did I get myself into? The plastic bag ban years ago. But now here's Safeway joining the cause, and we appreciate that, and promoting. It was wonderful, seriously, to hear Chris say, go out and get a bag that you can reuse. To United that gets it, that knows they can fly higher, not just literally but figuratively, by being more sustainable, and they can reduce costs and they can pass those cost savings on to consumers. And to Cisco that understands in an interdependent world, connectivity becomes the most important paradigm. So a guy like Wynn doesn't have to spend all that money and all that carbon emission to fly over here to do something they can do by utilizing these new technologies. Thank you for that example. Thank you for staying connected. Thank you for staying involved. And let me just close by this. So I say this. The best is yet to come. That we've barely scratched the surface as a city in terms of what we're capable of doing. Just some quick highlights. San Francisco is the only big city in the United States with a local carbon offset fund. You can actually go, you don't just have to buy that life insurance that they're selling out at the airport. You can get carbon offsets. You can buy them. And those carbon offsets go back into your city to plant trees and advance our biodiesel efforts. And by the way, you know we converted our entire diesel fleet to biodiesel years and years ago. That's an exciting program we look forward to scaling in the next few years. You know the work we're doing on energy efficiency in our Power Savers program, the $13 million we were fortunate to get in terms of the good work that Nancy Pelosi and others did with the stimulus, and how those dollars are being used through this Jobs Now program, where we've hired people that have been locked out of the old economy, that we're now locking into this new green economy, and making sure they're going out to the southeast sector to address the issue of environmental justice. At the same time, they advance a framework to reduce utility costs in this tough economic time and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We will scale that. Our ocean power efforts, though criticized and ridiculed by those in the media, will continue to be advanced because we believe in them. And we're making real progress on a wave production site off the coast of Ocean Beach that can generate as much energy needed on an annual basis to power 34,000 homes in this city, just that one project. We'll continue to raise the bar in terms of our green building standards by putting, in essence, what the cars and automobile manufacturers have done on vehicles, basically putting a tag as a tenant where you can shop the energy efficiency of your building just as you shop for miles per gallon in efficiency on your car, with the support of our building owners that believe that an energy audit and a baseline across the board can help advance their economic interests, not just advance our collective efforts of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, because they know they'll be more competitive if they have a more energy efficient space to promote to their tenants. That is legislation that will be introduced in the next couple of weeks. We will get to our carbon neutral goal for city buildings. We are well on our way of doing that. And we will continue to build out what I believe is the most important, I'll close with this, infrastructure that can truly advance not only our economic development goals and our domestic goals in terms of creating a different framework of job creation and growth, but also advance our international and foreign policy goals, and that's getting people out of their old combustion engines and those gas guzzlers and providing them an alternative with all of these new plug-in hybrids and plug-in cars that will be coming to market in the next few years, and truly changing the framework in terms of electrifying our vehicle fleet and making sure San Francisco Bay Area and California are truly leading the way. These are just things that I promise you we will be celebrating in the next few years. Let me just close by thanking Barbara Hale and all the great work that Ed Harrington and the team at the PUC are doing, not just the Department of Environment. Let me thank all of the departmental leaders that are assembled here with their climate plans that have raised the bar for their good stewardship. And again, I'll close as I began by thanking all of you for being so supportive and allowing us to take risks and try to lead by example on this, not just Earth Day today, but every day as we try to raise the bar in terms of what the city is capable of doing. Thank you all very, very much, and thanks for coming out today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One final round of thanks to the silver level sponsors of this event, Blue Shield, CH2M Hill, and Great West. And also thank you to Tamar Hurwitz, who orchestrated all of this, who did everything. Organized everything, including the centerpieces, which are handmade from reused materials by school education staff. And feel free to take those with you. And thanks again.